to talk a lot about steak. I've got some steak here ready to go that we're going to be working on momentarily, but we're also going to do a nice side real quickly as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get some heat on a pan. We've got 2 pans back here, and we are going to do the greeny beanies right there. We've got some lovely green beans all washed and prepped and ready to go. And we are going to do a lovely side. Green beans pair very well. I mean, it's a classic tradition, steak and green beans. So we're going to go ahead and get these ready to rock and roll. They are washed. They are ready to go, all prepped. So let's go ahead and get a few ingredients into the mix here as well. We're going to grab out my vegetable cleaver here and work on a little bit of side, and then we'll go into our steak. The side's going to take a little bit longer, not a dramatic amount of time, but we definitely want to get that started first, okay? So we are going to be doing lots of butter. We are going to be doing lots of garlic, all those things. We've got some rosemary and our Mountain Magic seasoning that we're going to be busting out here to build some layers of flavor. So this is going to be kind of steakhouse dinner kind of situation that we've got going on here. But by all means, if you have questions, and it doesn't have to be about just what we're doing today, any sort of meat science, things like that at all, just let us know either in the chat or on the chef's table, and we'd be happy, more than happy, to address those as they come up. Okay, so that's enough jibber jabbering, and let's go ahead and we're going to prep a little bit of an onion action here. I've got just a small onion that we are going to go ahead and get cut up and start working that in the pan. I turn the heat on, and we're going to come across and we are going to get our onion prepped and ready to rock and roll. And we compost, so that goes right into the compost pile here. We're building some beautiful compost to get some fresh soil. We love doing planting both indoors and outdoors. We just planted our hydroponic garden, which we'll be jumping into as soon as we get some sprouts and talking to you about all of our indoor gardening, but we are making compost for our outdoor growing season as well. All right, when it comes to steakhouse, you are going to be required to use a stick of butter. That's just the way it goes when we're doing steak and veggies in this style. We probably will not use a whole stick of butter, but we have butter right here ready to go. As soon as that pan gets hot, we're going to start working on that. So that's it. Sliced onions, okay? Those will be going into the pan. We also have some beautiful mushrooms that pair really well. We incorporate mushrooms into a lot of our cooking, whether it's steak or burgers or veggies, because that gives us that beautiful umami flavor that we love, okay? So let's go ahead and we are just going to do some nice thick slices here, right? Nice thick steakhouse style mushroom slices here. Baby Bella mushrooms. Let's go ahead and get those prepped up. We've got these new cutting boards, and I really like these new cutting boards. They don't slide. They've got nice little rubber stoppers, but they're interesting because it creates a small amount of space between the board and the table, and it makes an echo chamber when I cut through on these.
Yeah,
which is an interesting thing I noticed. They're really great cutting boards, but it sounds way more aggressive than it actually is because of that reverberation. You could try to do that.
Well, these cutting boards are supposed to be good on your knives because they're not super,
they're softer.
They're softer. It's a wood composite essentially.
They're great cutting boards. And whenever you're using a cutting board, please never use a glass cutting board. People do. That's one thing that should never happen in your kitchen.
I can understand why, because it doesn't harbor bacteria or anything, but it's definitely not good on your knives.
Definitely not. When it comes to cutting boards, you always want a softer surface than your blade to keep your blades in tip-top shape, right? We should maybe do a knife class one of these days and talk about those different things. All right, and of course, we're going to be using a lot of garlic today as well. Garlic in our vegetables, garlic with our steak. It is a garlic butter steak that we are going to be preparing here. So I've got a beautiful head of garlic here. Let's go ahead and pull off a couple of these and get some garlic. Oh, here's some ones I did yesterday.
Yeah.
That's right. We had a lot of garlic action yesterday. It's a garlic kind of week. Let's just start with those 3. If I need to go further, we've got it available there. But this should be plenty to get us started. These are already got the skin off. We're just going to remove that woody tip from the garlic there. We don't want that in our cooking. And then we'll go ahead and mince this up and get this in our vegetables. We will have to do another clove or 2 there for our steak, but we can get started with our vegetables here. And let's feel that pan. Yeah, we got some heat going. Let's get some butter working down in that pan. We've got medium heat here, okay? Whenever we're cooking with butter, right? Absolutely delicious, great thing to cook with, but high propensity to be able to burn, okay? Especially if you're using a high heat. So we don't want our butter to burn. We're going to get 2 pads of butter in there, 2 knobs of butter, if you will, into the pan, and it's melting away already. We're off to the races. Let's get our garlic prepped up here. We're just going to press that down with the big flat side of our blade. If you got a chef's knife, that'll work just as well. And then we'll come back over the top and let's go ahead and mince these up. There's a little bit on that guy. Let's go ahead and pull that off. There we go. Little bit of skin on that one still, but we got that removed. We don't want anybody eating that, right? Let's go ahead and flip that over. Back to the bird's eye. There we go. And now that we've got this all smushed down there and ready to go and broken open, let's go ahead and come across the top, keeping our thumb out of the way and our knuckles down. We never raise our blade above our knuckles. That's how we keep all of our fingers intact, right? We're going to go ahead and mince this garlic down as fine as we possibly can, okay? So there we go. We've got onion, we've got garlic, we've got mushrooms, we've got butter in the pan. We'll add a little bit of seasoning to this as well. We won't use the same seasoning that we're doing on our steak because we want to create a variety of flavors here in our dining experience. So I'm actually going to go ahead. We used this yesterday, but I use it all the time when it comes to vegetables, is our Letterbuck. Our Letterbuck seasoning right here, available on MontanaMaxBarbecue.com. Fabulous on seafood, pork chops, chicken. Oh, somebody said, I like Letterbuck. Really fabulous. If you ever are like, what is Letterbuck? Think buck chicken, right? Really good on that. But I mean, fabulous on vegetables. We use it all the time on asparagus and anything green. Broccoli. We used it yesterday in our dish to season our broccolini. Absolutely fabulous. So we got that rocking and rolling there. Let's go ahead. There we go. You can see that butter's melted in the pan there. We're going to get a nice coating there. We got a little smoke coming up, so we're going to take that heat down just a touch there. Like I said, we don't want to burn our butter. If we brown it, that's all right. But burning it, not so much, okay? That burnt taste will transfer through everything that we're doing. All right, we've got our onion here. Let's get that onion in. And you should see, let's see if you can see this if I flip it over to the large screen. Yep, you can see it just slightly there, but we got a little bubble. A little bubble in your butter means you're at the rate where you need to be there. You don't want to boil, obviously, but a little bubble, you're doing things just right. You're doing things just right. We don't need a ton of onion here. We're just going to use this to impact the flavor of our green bean dish, but we want to start breaking those down. We're going to start making layers of flavor starting right there. Let's grab ourselves our trusty wooden spatula. Get those coated up there. There we go. Rocking and rolling. And right now, I'm actually going to start heating. I've got another pan. You can see the edge of it right over here. This is what we're going to do our steaks in. We're going to want a nice hot pan for when we start cooking our steaks down. It's going to be a quick cooking process, very easy to do. And we're going to show you step by step how we go through that and do that. But we want the pan nice and hot. So I'm going to start on a low heat there and just start bringing that pan up to temperature. The thicker the pan you have, the better off you're going to be when it comes to cooking steaks. Here's why. Thicker pans hold heat better and distribute the heat more evenly. Cast iron, right? That's why you always hear cast iron steaks. That's why. These are a non-stick pan, which is really nice for cleaning and all that good stuff, but they're a thicker non-stick pan, so it works really well, as you'll see when we get into cooking that as well. Okay, so we got this going now. Well, we got our onions starting to break down there, and that's going to be about 2 minutes here as we get ready to go on those. Let's start talking about steak a little bit here. Okay, so I'm just going to slide this cutting board over to the side, and we're going to slide that in. Let's go back to the overhead. And we've got some sirloin strips here, and it's just Jen and I, so we don't need the giant 86er that John Candy put away on the Great Outdoors. We've got a couple nice sirloin strips here. Very nice. Some good marbling in there if we flip it over to the side. And we're going to season these up, okay? We're going to season these up. Usually there's enough inherent moisture within proteins themselves to get your seasoning to stick, all right? And just for the sake of ease here, I'm going to put a glove on one hand so I can not cross-contaminate and all that kind of good stuff and handle these. Now, I tell people this all the time, and you'll see this on the plate here. Mark this down right there. You can see that liquid, right? There is no such thing as a bloody steak. That is not blood. There is no blood in a steak. When an animal is harvested, they are completely drained of blood. So you are never going to buy a steak from a grocery store and it will be bloody. That is a non-existent thing. That is a misnomer. What you're looking at there, that is just water that is stained with a protein called myoglobin. I feel like I need that to come like up on the bottom of the screen. Myoglobin. So that is a pink protein that is stained, that is staining the natural water moisture that is in the muscle there. So there is no blood in this, okay? Keep that in mind. So when people are like, you like your steak bloody if they cook it rare or blue in some cases, there is no blood. They're not consuming blood. That is not blood on their plate. Jen is
It
still,
sure looks like blood, though.
but it is not. It is not blood. All right, so we are going to get our base layer flavor here, and this absolutely, I'm going to put that lid closed so I don't shower myself with mountain magic here, and there we go. We're going to absolutely great on all sorts of things. You've been seeing us use this all this last week. When we say all-purpose, it really is all-purpose. But if you're using it on a protein, absolutely phenomenal on beef, okay? We've got people that cook with this on briskets, and we are going to go ahead and get a fairly hefty portion. We're not trying to create a crust or a bark, but we want to generously season our cuts here, okay? Remember, the thicker your steak as well, the longer your cook time is going to be. And these are nice. These are good size here, about an inch thick. And we've got it split into two lovely serving sizes here. We're going to go ahead and get that all the way around.
Those onions are smelling good.
The onions are smelling good. Yes, we got flavor rocking and rolling there. And there we go. We've got that nice and seasoned up. Let's go ahead. And if you get a little bit extra there, that's all right. We can just turn that, get it on the plate. Now, we haven't marinated these at all or done any of that. When you marinate a steak, you're only adding flavor to the outside. Nothing is penetrating that steak except for one ingredient, and that's sodium chloride, also known as salt. That's the only thing that is a small enough molecular to actually penetrate into a steak. So if you're going to do a marination with a steak, you have to find a way for that to get inside. And there's only a couple ways you can do that to actually get inside of the protein and marinate a steak. You can do it through injection, but a more common way is using a jacquard, okay? A jacquard is a multi-blade tool that actually puts slits into the steak where the marinade can actually penetrate into the muscle. If you just throw these into a bag and try to marinate them, you'll get some flavor on the outside, but there's nothing actually soaking into the meat. Another popular thing that people do to tenderize steaks, right, is they'll use a substance called bromelain. If you ever see a steak tenderizer on the market, the active ingredient in there is bromelain. And you got to be real careful with that because it's part of the sodium chloride family. It will break down the muscle tissues within a steak. But you can run the risk very easily of making your steak extremely salty, which I've done when I first started playing around with different stuff early in my cooking career. And you can also over bromelain your steak and create it and make it mushy. It should have some, yes, Jen's over there like, ew, gross. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. Another thing is steaks do not have to be room temperature to cook them successfully. Oh, I had it on the wrong camera there. There you can see we've got a nice, you can still see the meat, right? We've got a nice seasoning all the way around there. ready to go, ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead now and bring our veggie tray back to center stage. Onions are starting to cook down. We got a little color on them. We got them in that butter there. Let's go ahead now and start working our mushrooms into the mix over there. There we go. Now I'm back on the trolley and start breaking these down. Dropped a few guys on the floor there into the compost. They will go. Notice we haven't added our garlic yet. Garlic, going to be one of the last ingredients that goes in here, okay? That's because to activate that garlic and not have it burn, it only takes 30 to 45 seconds, minutes tops to get that going. Let's throw this back up on the big screen here. There we go. Base of flavor, rocking and rolling. Should have a little butter in the bottom of your pan. If you don't, if it's starting to get all soaked up, just add a little butter in there. You can also add just a little bit of olive oil, okay? We're going to get those mushrooms starting to work down, and I am going to add just a touch more butter in there because we are going to be adding both our green beans and our garlic into the mix here. Pat of butter. Ooh, and those mushrooms are starting to emit some beautiful smell here. Already, we're unlocking flavor. It's amazing how heat transforms a product. And if you ever have any science questions, I love talking food science as well. There we go. We're glistening. Onions working down. We're doing really well so far. Okay. Back we go. All right. We got a few moments there. Well, our mushrooms are starting to work down a little bit. So I am going to grab out now a couple more cloves of garlic. We're going to roll these out with our handy dandy garlic roller. Pop those in there. And this will be for our steak, okay? Using our garlic roller, we can get rid of that outside, that casing into the compost. The same process here, removing the woody tips. Get those lined up. Make sure to have all of that garlic husk out of the way. We don't want to pick that up and end up having somebody eat that in their dish. And we're just going to go ahead, smash that down one more time. And let's mince that up. Very nice. All right. We're using just 2 small sirloin strips here. So we don't need a ton of garlic, couple cloves for that. That will be going into our butter mixture. Ooh, and I had a camouflage mushroom there. Says to myself, I'm not going to make it in that pan. You were wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong. You were going to join your friends in there. And we've got those mushrooms sweating down, doing really nice here. Let's go ahead and get our green beans working in there right after we add our garlic. Let's flip it back to the stove cam. We're doing a beautiful, simple side here, right? Let's activate that garlic in the pan. Give it a little stir there. Join your friends. Nice medium heat there. Not too hot, not too cold. Think Goldilocks. This is great texture here. This is coming along really nicely. I've already got my other pan heated up to the side there. We'll flip those around here in a moment, okay? Then we're going to get our green beans in here. Look at those. Beautiful. Beautiful. Fresh. Especially this time of year in the winter months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking that. All right, now you can add more butter just for simple ease here. I'm just going to come back in with a little olive oil, okay? Give that a nice little hefty drizzle there over our green beans. Now, like I said earlier, we got Montana Max barbecue, let her book, all right? Fabulous on vegetables. One of our best, some of our best clients, right, are actually vegans and vegetarians because our seasonings, no animal byproducts, all that, all natural, good flavor, really makes vegetables dynamic. Okay, now let's go ahead, mix all this up real good. Get those onions working in there. Get those mushrooms working with there. Get that garlic turned in there. And use that whole surface area of that pan there to start working these green beans down. We want them to still have some body, of course. We don't want them to be completely limp. We want them to have a little body, but we definitely need to soften those down. No one wants a raw green bean on their plate, right, babe?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I love all the smells.
That's half the
onions
fun,
and
right?
garlic and mushrooms. Yeah, all of that just smells so good.
And that is pretty much it, kids, for our side dish. How easy is that, right? We're just simple things, building up layers of flavor. That's what we're all about here. So just to review, we start with a little butter. We got our onions in there. We added our mushrooms in, started working those together, followed by garlic, green beans, and then our Montana Max letterbox seasoning. And we're just going to go ahead, let those work in the pan there. I'm going to switch them over to the other burner, just like so, because we're going to start working on our steak here. Medium, low heat there, and just kind of let them do their things. And then every so often, we're going to give them a little shaky, get our spoon in there, make sure everything's cooking evenly all the way through. Okay, simple enough, right? There we go. Now, on to the main event. Cooking up some beautiful sirloin strips here. We've got our garlic ready to go. That's all set. We have our steak seasoned. We are going to add, turn that down just a touch. Those electric burners, man, they get hot in a hurry. All right. We are going to go ahead here. Let's take this over. We're going to add some rosemary. Rosemary pairs really well. I cannot talk today. With steak, but no one wants a chunk of rosemary. You'll see it all the time in videos and pictures that there'll be these rosemary leaves or sprigs scattered all over the steak, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Not entirely the best eating experience, in my opinion. So how can we remedy that? Very simply, we've got this dried rosemary here, and we're going to put it in a mortar and pestle. Science! Right there. And we're actually going to grind this down, okay? We're actually going to take our pestle there, and we're just going to start turning that and pulverizing it. Ooh, and I can smell the aromatics from that. So we can get those flavors in there, but we're not going to have these giant sprigs that people are picking out of the in between their teeth when they're enjoying their steak. So you got to use a little force, right? And we just work that in there. Break them down. We'll continue with that in just a second, but just so we're ready to go, right? We're going to go ahead and get some butter here in the pan, okay? Nice knob of butter right there. We're going to start melting that down in the pan. We want a nice medium, high heat here. We're bubbling. That's good. And we're melting away. Check it out. Woo! Coat that pan up real good, real good. We got that bubble going. That bubble is just fine. That's what we want. That's the temperature we're looking for right there. All right? Now we're going to come on back here, finish out getting this ground down. Keeping an eye here. Doing good. Now, if your butter browns a little bit, that's completely okay. Brown butter is a thing, right? We just don't want to burn it. So we're sitting pretty good there. All right. I think I'm going to go with that right there. I'll hold this up. You can, if we can get the light.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. That shadow just, but you can see we got it pretty round down there and we're good to go. So let's go ahead, start getting that. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of that into our butter mixture right there. And now we're going to come back with our garlic as well. Let's click that back over to the stove. Start cooking that garlic down in that butter right there. Activate that. You are okay there, Woofy. All right. And I've got our steaks right here. There we go. Bum, ba-da-da. Okay, butter is bubbling. Bubber. Wow. Today is a day, kids. All right. Let's go ahead. Move our green beans about here while I'm over here looking at the side. They're looking good. They're smelling good. They're glistening. Coming along nicely. Give that. And then we've got everything ready to go here. Now, I will be adding some more butter in here, okay? But the first thing that we need to do is we need to get a nice sear. And we'll do this twice, okay? We'll do this twice. We're going to give it just a nice, light little press there. And we're going to start cooking that around, okay? And we're going to be doing about 2 minutes per side to get a nice sear there. We're going to make sure that we're working now medium to medium high heat, and we've got that rolling, okay? So there we go. Make sure we're right over that burner there. I'm going to get a little bit more butter ready to go because we are going to baste this bad boy. So there we go. Big old stick of butter, right? We might go through that whole stick. We're going to be real darn close. Now, there's a couple things that you need here. You're going to need a spoon for basting. But the more important tool, which I really should have had out and talked about right away, is a really good thermometer, okay? Really good food thermometer for temp. Now, we've all watched the Hell's Kitchen, all that stuff. This is not a 5-star, Michelin star delicatessen here. I'm trying to serve some good food as you're doing at home, right? Chef Ramsay's not going to come in and make you a donut sandwich when you're cooking steak at home. Might do it to your TikTok video, but he ain't going to do it in your personal house. If he does, call the police because that is really weird. So using a thermometer, right? The chefs always do the different steak tests. Don't take the guesswork out of it when you want to get it right, right? Professional barbecue people, everybody, they're all using thermometers to know exactly where they are. So that's how we're going to get our internal temperature. Now, trust me, you pay for what you get for with these things. I'm not endorsed or anything by Thermopin, but these are super fantastic, super accurate. If you buy a cheapy one, you're going to get cheapy results, okay? All right, time to turn our steak here. Let's go ahead. Whoop, back to the stove cam. And there we go. Look at that.
Looks great. Smelling
Absolutely
good.
gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Over to the other side. Now, here's your other pro steak tip. If your steak sticks to the bottom of your pan, don't panic. That is completely natural and completely normal. All right. It's just creating that beautiful crust and that beautiful sear there. Give it a moment. It will naturally release itself from your pan. All right. Very common if you're cooking with cast iron. Don't get in the habit of getting in there and trying to scrape it off your pan. You're just going to damage your pan. You're just going to damage your steak. Be patient. Give it a moment, and then you'll see it'll release naturally. You'll do it the first time, and you'll be like, Montana Mac said, just be patient. It will do its thing. And then it'll do it, and you'll be like, that is steak black magic. But trust me, it does. And you don't want to scrape up your nice pan, okay? Go ahead. Keep our green beans working over here. They are smelling fabulous. Those mushrooms are looking good. Onions are looking good. Everything's looking good. All right. Now, here's where people miss a critical thing, and it's a super easy thing to do. There we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. We want to sear the sides as well. So you're going to take your tongs here. Sometimes it'll sit. Let's see if we can get it to sit. We want to sear all the way around, okay? There's fats. Typically, these are really nice, lean, trimmed up steaks. They're all good to go. If you're doing like a ribeye or something like that, there's going to be fat around the edges, and you want to make sure that renders. There shouldn't be raw fat when you're serving a steak. So we're going to do this. Get this on that side. Press that down in the pan a little bit. And all of our garlic and everything, nothing's burning here, right? We're controlling our temperature. We're watching things work. We're just imparting flavor here, okay? So we're going to get that on the side there. We're going to add in just a little bit more butter, okay? Just a little bit, not the big knob that I had there, but let's get a little bit more butter working in the pan there because we're going to start basting, okay? That's going to be the next step here after we sear this other side is we're really going to baste this, all right? Now let's talk about for a moment while we're getting our sear on here all the way around. Oh, good times. Look at that. This is poetry in motion. We're just searing the outside, so we're not cooking it all the way through, right? We rest our steaks because the internal temperature is going to continue to rise in the steak for about 5 minutes, so up to 5 degrees, a degree a minute after we rest our steaks. The other thing is we want to let all that moisture on the inside settle down. Whenever we heat up water, it gets excited. We're going back to 8th grade science. It starts bouncing around inside of those protein cellular walls. We want to let that all settle down, okay? Got a nice sear going here. Nice crust. I can feel that. We're looking good. We're just going to get that side seared off there real quickly. And we're doing good. All right. Now you can go ahead. We're still on the rare side of things. That's got a lot of push to it. All right. We want to firm that up a little bit. We want to cook that through. Now for me, that's good eating. For Jen, not so much. She prefers her steaks a little bit more on the medium well to well done side. And if you like your steak that way, don't let anybody tell you how to live your life. Cook your food how you want to eat it, right? Now, let's go ahead and start basting. See if I can do it reverse side here. See all that beautiful butter? It's brown. It's not burnt. It's not black. We got a nice little deal, and we are just going to come over that. I'm going to turn. I just want to show you how that looks there.
That looks great.
Now, if I was doing this, not streaming a live show, I'm going to tilt it back here so I can just work it a little easier because I'm reaching over. We're just going to baste that. We're just going to continue to baste that. Now, we also have the pan off the heat, so I'm not as concerned about over searing or anything, but look at that gorgeous foaming butter there. Absolutely fabulous. Don't forget, we've got green beans working here. Let's go ahead and give those a little bit of a turn. Just a quick green bean update. Looking awesome. There we go. Green bean update complete. Let's go ahead, baste with a little bit more of that brown butter there. Gonna go ahead and flip that other side over. Let's make sure we give all the sides all the love. We're about ready to tempt this thing here and kind of see where we're sitting. And I'm gonna need to add a little bit more butter to the pan as well for our next steak. But before we do that, so we're sitting about 128 degrees internal temperature. We want to take a couple different reads there. Down on the thinner end, it's not, it's higher. There we go. Now we got the tip there. We're raising up quick. We're right about 128 average temperature. So I'm going to pull that. Okay. I'm going to pull that because 130, we're kind of looking, we should be at a medium. So this will go up to a medium well once it rests. And we should be right where we want to be. Beautiful, glistening. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful color. We got a nice crust on there. We got a nice sear. Flip it over. There we go. It has firmed up. That should be a really nice steak right there. So we're going to go ahead, take that and let that rest. Get some fresh butter in the pan and let's get the other one cooking. Somebody's happy about that. Fresh butter in the pan here. Garlic. Can continue working there. I can add a little bit more of our rosemary. And I'm just going to tap that in there. Rosemary can be very strong, so we just add a little bit at a time. Everyone's got their personal preference, right? With how much you want in there. You can do a little bit. You want a really herbaceous steak. There we go. We're bubbling up. Temperature's good. Where's my tongy tongs? There they are, back on the steak board. Let's sear. Now this one I'm going to do a little bit more on the medium rare side. That one's going to be for Jen that we just got done. That should carry over, right? We're talking carry over temperature to medium well, okay? This one I'm going to try to go a little bit more medium rare for my taste here. Even though at the end of the day, I'll probably be eating most of this myself. But that's okay too. That's okay too. Once again, 1 to 2 minutes per side there. We got a nice bubble going. We're going to get a nice sear. Brown butter, not burnt, not black. We got a nice brown. We got a little bubble there. And life is good on the Funny Farm. Remember, if you have any questions about steak or anything at all, really, you can hop in that chat over there or join Jen on the chef's table right over there. Be happy to talk to you. Isn't that right, dear?
Yes, we love questions, right?
We do. It's true.
And it smells delicious.
And our green beans are pretty much at completion here. They're looking good. Got a little pan sear char on those ones. Add a little texture, add a little depth. They're looking good. Going to turn that heat down, kind of let those ride out there. And then, oops, sorry guys, I don't have that. There we go. Back to the steak. That's been about 1.5 minutes. And there we go. Beautiful, beautiful crust coming on there. Let's go ahead and get that. I'm going to grab out a wee little steak plate. An adorable little steak plate to put our steaky on. We'll slice this open. We'll see how she looks, and then we're going to get ready to eat. Hopefully you learned a thing or two today from our garlic butter steak, which we've got rocking and rolling. We will base this one out as well here. And thank you for joining us here on Kitsch.com, the food network for a new generation. Lots of awesome programming today, celebrating Ina Gurdon's birthday, 75 today. So that's awesome as well. All right, let's go ahead. Get those edges. Yes, I know. You smell it.
She does. She smells it.
Got the little sous chef down here, the little floofs.
We'll need a bigger plate to fit those green beans on, too, if you plate them together.
Oh, no.
No, no.
Oh, no. I've
Separate.
got this. I've got a plan, dear.
Oh.
I've got
okay.
a plan.
Okay.
I know. There we go. Beautiful sear there. This one's got a little bit rounder edge on that side, so I'm going to have to hold that one. Kind of work it. Make sure we get that whole edge seared off. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I think we're ready to baste her out here. Let's do it one more time. We'll flip it over onto the giant screen, the big screen here. Got our bubbling going on there. We got a nice crust. Tilt her down. Get all that beautiful rosemary, garlic in that butter mixture. And we are just going to baste that beauty. And you can just do this. You can baste it with this butter. I'm going to turn that heat down just a touch. We're getting a little bit more foam than I'd like, but it'll still be fine. It's not burning. It's just browned, which a brown butter, right? But you essentially are just going to continue to do this process until you hit that internal temperature that you want. Flip it on over.
There's something about cooking steaks like this versus on the grill that I think that, I don't know, I like this method a lot.
Well, when you're just throwing things on the grill, which there's nothing wrong. I like cooking steaks on the grill and doing that. You're not adding these extra layers of flavor, okay?
Unless you inject it, right?
What?
I said unless you're injecting it, I suppose.
Well, yeah, you have to do something else. But most dudes that are grilling steaks are just seasoning the outside, slapping them on the grill, and then they're done. And then if you're using a gas grill, especially, or charcoal, and you just do it over direct heat, it's very easy to dry them out, cook them over temperature, and they don't get that beautiful texture, right? All right, let's get an internal temp on this. I'm going to clear off that butter there. Let's go ahead. And we are good there. Let's bring it over. Let's turn that heat off. Let's get the pan off. Remember, your pan's going to stay hot there, right? So we don't want to sit there and burn that butter. But there we go. We've got 2 beautifully cooked steaks on the cutting board. Let's flip it back over to the overhead there. This one's the one that just came out on that side. There we go.
So juicy. Look at that.
And this one should be ready to cut. That's feeling pretty good. That one definitely is going to be a little bit more medium rare. Moment of truth time. Let's go ahead and slice into this. Grab my tongs here. We'll just put that over to the side here. And let's cut her right down the center and see how we did. And that is a perfect medium to medium well right there. Look at that. And you see how it's not like grayed or overcooked on the outside? See how that beautiful hue is edge to edge. I'm going to say on this one, not to break my own arm, but patting myself on the back, but I'm pretty sure I nailed that one today. I'm feeling pretty happy about that. That looks great. That looks absolutely great.
It looks juicy too.
It is. It absolutely is. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. All right. We're going to do a little taster plate here. And I'm going to let this one rest there. That one should be a little bit closer to medium rare. Should be a little pinker. But that is absolutely lovely. All right. Let's plate that up for the Miss Kansas City Jen to have a Kansas City taste, shall we? I've got a nice little plate right there, which we've got a rustic mushroom, onion, green beans with garlic. Just go ahead.
Those look delicious also.
Mini steakhouse plate. How about that business, huh?
Mm.
You can see they've definitely cooked down as I brandish my green beans at you. So they're soft, but they're not completely just, you know, they haven't lost all of their body. They should have a little bite to them. They should have a little flair to them. And then we can go ahead here. I'm going to scoot that up. Wow. Look at that. I'm just going to. This is like the perfect Jen steak plate dinner. And if I take a picture like right up close of it, it'll look ginormous.
Well, you better get a quick picture because I want to taste it. That looks really good.
Mini steak dinner for Mini Kansas City Jen.
You know, the only thing is mushrooms. I don't see any.
They're in here. They're right
Okay.
there. They're on your steak.
Oh, you just ate it.
Yeah.
I love mushrooms. Don't eat my mushrooms.
Well, you say they're not there. There is our mini steak plate dinner right there, but that's how you cook a steak right there. Garlic butter steak cooked all the way through. That's a medium well, about to perfection right there. Always room for improvement, right? I'm going to move this up out of the way. And let's move this. Let's get a quick little picture. And then we'll have Jen come taste her out. And that's I can just feel it. That is super duper tender. Loving that. There's no mushroom. Yes, there is.
Well, from my view, it's hard to see.
You're sitting all the way across the room.
It must be underneath. Because I know there was mushrooms in the pan. It's one of my favorite things. So
these are a few of Jen's favorite things. All right, sweetie, come on. Bring your bad self up here. It's time for you to taste a taste. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Kansas City Jen coming up. There you go. Say hi, world.
Hi, world. All right. Ooh, yeah, that does look good. Perfect. Even better and up close. Okay. I'm going to bite right into this. Wow, it cuts real nice and easy too.
Always slice your steak against the grain. Okay. Any sort of beef product, you need to go against the grain with that. What do you think?
Really yummy.
Yeah.
I just love the seasoning and the crust on it.
Seasoning, crust, buttery goodness. Nice,
Okay.
tender.
Oh,
You got to try those green beans.
It goes really well together.
Absolutely. A match made in heaven, just like you and me, Kansas City, Jen. All right. So there we go. There is our garlic butter steak with a beautiful green bean side. Easy to do, delicious to make. We did this whole thing in 50 minutes roughly. So that means at home, you can create a steak dinner for you and your loved one in a half hour or less. Very easy to do as we walked you through it in a great way to have a nice, healthy, delicious, flavorful meal. Bing, bing, bing. How easy is that? Pretty
easy for me.
It was easy for her. So there we go. Make sure if you're checking us out here on kitch.com to save your seat for our upcoming streams. Let's click save my spot and you'll get a lovely notification every time we go live.
Yes, don't forget.
We'd love to see you. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up, and you can see we're scheduled all through the weekend at the same great time, same great price. 12 noon Central Standard Time to catch us live here. You can always go back and watch all of our past streams as well here on kitch.com. We've got links below to our Instagram, Facebook, and our website where all of our seasonings and sauces are all natural and available for you at MontanaMaxBBQ.com. On behalf of Kansas City Jen and myself, Montana Max, thank you once again for joining us on here on kitch.com, the food network for the new generation. And as always, for those about to cook,
we salute you.
We sure do. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.